I have on my list the following speakers requested to ask supplementary questions. The Honorable MB Skosana, followed by the Honorable LD Mazibuko. Just to remind the speakers that time allowed for supplementary question is 1 minute, and the presiding officer has the discretion for the time allowed to reply. So I'll be very strict, Mr. President. Proceed, sir.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Is His Excellency the President and the government aware of the existence and the work of the African Diaspora Forum currently confronting the manifestations of xenophobia? Will the government assist this forum in any way possible in the efforts to end xenophobia and bring peace and harmony among the African people? Your Excellency, what all of us should be concerned about is that xenophobia, regardless of the rationale behind it, the brutality thereof is no doubt sowing the seeds of intense resentment for South Africans in some African countries for generations to come. And if we do not put a halt to this violation of human rights, nature's great law of compensation is bound to bring the brutish chickens of xenophobia home to roost. Then the lives of South Africans, their properties and investments in those affected African countries will be at a serious risk. Faced with a legitimate need, will the President be willing to respectfully move a Deputy Minister horizontally to be fully responsible for this project as one other critical component of the National Development Plan? I'm saying respectfully, Your Excellency, because I don't want to dictate.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. The time has expired. Honourable the President.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Yes, I think we are all aware of this particular organization, but there are many that are at work, not just one or two. There is a continental approach to this issue of the diaspora and the interaction with the diaspora. In fact, as one of the points that strengthens that kind of an activity is the fact that the West Indies, as a collective of islands, have been given some status at the AU informally to be regarded as one region that really concentrate or constitutes a broader kind of diaspora outside who are in charge of governments, etc. So we are working with them. In fact, in every other AU summit, they do participate as observers. At times, are given the platform to speak. So that issue is an issue that we are all talking about. You will also recall that we had a summit not long time ago of the diaspora together with Africa to discuss precisely those kind of issues. That's broadly speaking. With regard to the specific issues we are raising with regard to South Africa, I think that issue of the xenophobia is an issue that I think everybody is very much on the alert on it, that it cannot be an issue that could get out of our hands. Now, I think if you were making a comparison and looking at the numbers of the Africans in South Africa who are foreigners, it's very huge, active in many other respects. I think the issues that have tended to raise this issue are not so many. In fact, I think at times there's a bit of an exaggeration that xenophobia is a big problem in South Africa. I think there's a bit of an exaggeration. I'm not saying it is not there, because at times when instances happen, this is seen, particularly when people react. But foreigners are busy everywhere, in every corner of this country, employed. And that feeling is not that big. I mean, if we are taking the size of the foreigners other than South Africa, you would be saying this problem is too huge. Even on instances where there have been instances that would have made people to interpret that this is xenophobia, South Africans have not been on one-sided on the issue. In fact, even the bigger one that happened a few years ago many South Africans protected the foreigners. And I had an opportunity to meet with them in around Pretoria and East Rand. They were very clear that some of them were saying, please don't touch the foreigners. I think even with the last incident that happened in Johannesburg, it was clear division. So you can't say the xenophobia is such a huge problem in South Africa. Certainly we need to look out very carefully because of the size of the foreigners that are in South Africa. I'm sure as government, we are doing everything we can to ensure that that issue must never be a problem that is allowed to grow. We must make South Africans understand, and I think we've been doing so. And I think we should all play that part to ensure that xenophobia in our country is not something that we can allow. All of us, I think we should speak in one voice from all political parties to say we as South Africans, we are warm people, we receive people to be with us. At some point, they received us too when we had difficulties, and we must therefore find a way to work together. Particularly, if you take what I was saying about the continent of Africa, the countries in the continent, it's absolutely important for us to bear in mind that the issue of xenophobia must never be allowed to go out of hand. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I thank the Honorable President.